All right. I've been wanting to record for a long time, but I can't find the time. And today my baby, now with the kids going back to school after winter break, and my baby's starting Head Start, because I know she's in good hands. Usually I go home for my lunch break and check on the kids and make them lunch. But today feels like the day that I can catch a break. And I don't say that in a bad way. I love coming home to my babies during lunch when they're not in school. I love feeding them. Yes, being a single mom is very stressful just because you're the only one doing everything. Like, you're the only one cooking, cleaning, feeding them, ensuring that they have everything for school. I just got off of work, and I'm gonna go get some lunch. You know, I don't want to go home because I know I'm gonna clean the whole kitchen, so I'm gonna find something to eat out here. Stuff has been on my mind a lot this week. A lot. It's been like an emotional roller coaster lately. I will explain why. I'm just gonna go find something to eat and I'll finish recording this video because I feel very inspired. Okay. Bueno, panza llena, corazón contento. Alright, so number one thing, we've gone through so many roller coasters, so many ups and downs lately in our lives, and my kids, myself included. A lot of people, like, not only have been showing their true colors but their true intentions in our lives, and I've been feeling very moved to kind of like relocate from where we live now. I was just thinking, like, I've been thinking recently, like, everything that it took to move us here to Greeley. And after living in the same valley, in the same small city for like almost 10 years, coming from that to this has been a blessing, you know. But it's just like with anything, it comes with its things, right? Like, everything good has a price. In my situation, in our situation, the number one reason why I left the valley was because my company that I used to work for 3 years filed for bankruptcy, leaving about 300 people unemployed. And it left a lot of us kind of like fighting for the good jobs and competing, and more than 60 people applying for one job at the hospital, which nobody except for one girl that I used to work with in my department got it, and then she ended up quitting. And then, anyways, long story short, I think I'm off track here, but basically what I wanted to say, since we've moved out of that valley, the Lord has been good to us. The Lord has opened so many doors, so many opportunities. But being in Greeley, like, for the longest time I wanted to move here, not only because there was more opportunities, but when I started planning to move here, I was very close to my sister. Her and I don't speak anymore, but and a lot has happened since July was when we got all unemployed. And okay, let me see if I can like get back to it being what I wanted it to be. What this video, the purpose for this video, was because I'm just like thinking about a lot of things. Number one, I didn't even know if the move to Greeley was gonna come, because it was really hard finding a place to live, number one. a decent place, because there's a ton of places to rent everywhere, especially in this area, because I live by a college. The college is like right here in front of my house. You just cross the road and it's there. There's a ton of places to rent. And when I came here, like when I was organizing the move, I still lived in Alamosa. Like I was renting this huge house for the same amount of space that this one is actually more expensive, and it's a basement with 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, kind of like a yard, washer and dryer included, and an upstairs neighbor. I don't have any natural light coming in ever. And if it looks like it's light in here, you always need the light on. And there's like little windows. Anyways, I was really heartbroken to leave my home in Alamosa. It wasn't my home, but it felt like a home. And even my kids are like devastated, and I'm like, I was just trying to find us a house, not an apartment. But anyways, when I was trying to look for a place to live, and I was this close to starting my new job at JBS corporate as a, what was I? I was in, what the heck is it called? Where you sit in the front, receptionist, and in the mail room, right? So I was gonna start my job, and I ended up getting into a car accident on my way to the interview. I was with my niece, and I was here in Greeley, and I had just been here with my baby girl. My boys were in Texas, and I was staying with the sister that I'm not talking with anymore. But long story short, the next day after my accident, I ended up getting into it with my sister because of the way she was treating her daughter, which is now in my custody for that reason. I got into this argument with her, and I said, because she was like, I don't want you spending or getting close to Elise anymore. And that day I was like thrown off because I was giving my baby a bath, and she followed me to the bathroom, and she was making dinner. And the next thing I know is I see my niece crying, going to her room. She gives me my phone because I had given her my phone to watch a YouTube on video on a pastor that she had checked, because we went to the library before this, me and her with my baby, and she checked out a book with my library card. I said, yeah, get a book if you want, like I know that you like reading, so get a book. She got a book by a pastor, a youth pastor. And then we get home, I see she's like showing me the book, and I'm like, oh my gosh, baby. And then I get my phone out, and I'm like, here, look at this pastor. So then I'm like, I'm gonna go give Milani a bath because we're sticky, it's summer, she's fussy. So I'm like, to relax her, I'm gonna go and give her a bath. I go to the bathroom. Next thing I know is my niece is crying. She gives me back my phone. Then Sarai goes in there, my sister, and she's like, hey, I don't want you getting too close or paying attention to Elise. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I just don't want you around her that much, because every time you do something, she wants to go with you, and she's like always stuck to your hip. I'm like, did I do something wrong? Is there something wrong with that? Am I a bad influence on her? I'm like, did I tell her to not listen to you? Like, what's wrong? She's like, she couldn't even answer my question. I'm like, am I a bad influence on her? She kept going on. She didn't answer my question. I'm like, I don't know what you mean by don't get close with her. I'm like, I'm gonna be close with her. And if I have to run an errand, and if she wants to come along, I'm not gonna tell her no. Stay here. Stay at home and be bored. Like, I'm gonna bring her with me. And this whole thing started, and I said, why are you such a bully to your older 2 kids? You're a bully to Isaac and Elise. I'm like, why? But the younger 2, you baby so much. It's like you have them so cheaply. You prefer the younger 2, but the older 2 you're super mean to. She didn't know how to answer that to me, so it turned out into this huge argument. I ended up leaving her house. Mind you, I didn't have a car because mine got rear-ended and totaled on my way to the interview. I call an Uber, which was $30 because I didn't have the app, because I'm from the small town where they don't use Uber. So I had to get on Google, look for a taxi service that was available. She was outside watching me the whole time I was waiting for an Uber. And her 2 older kids, the ones who I was standing up for, were with me, holding my bags with me, because I had a stroller, I had a car seat, and I've had like big old bags with me, carrying diapers, carrying formula, carrying water, carrying clothes for me and my baby, like everything we needed, right? Because we were supposed to stay there a whole week. And I have a vehicle, so my niece and my nephew are there helping me, almost crying, and they're like, tell him to come inside. Like, my sister and the husband were like, tell them to come inside the Maris because they listen to you more than they listen to us. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell them to go inside with you two abusive parents with your toxic relationship. Well, I was there for 5 days or 3 days. I was there for 3 days. And all I saw morning to night was them fighting. All they would do is fight with each other morning, noon, and night. So because they had so many marital problems, they would take it out on my niece and nephew. And because my niece and my nephew's dads aren't involved, as they should be, they took advantage of that, and they thought nobody was going to stand up for them. And in this household, I could tell that everybody kind of revolved around my sister. Like, nobody ever stands up to her. Nobody ever tells her no. She's kind of like the boss. And even the husband is like such a girl that he doesn't have balls to stick up for her. And God forgive me for saying that, but it's basically what I observed. So when I'm leaving that toxic house, I could just feel the heaviness, right? Every day. And I could only feel sorry for the kids. I'm like, I can't imagine what you guys go through every single day living this hell of a life with these two people. They're little kids. They're like 14 and 12, so they don't know nothing else. You know, they don't know how to cry out for help. They think they're by themselves. So anyway, God knows the reason why I left that day, right? I didn't talk to them anymore. The next day, I'm talking to my mom in a hotel. I was able to go to a hotel. The Uber lady that picked me up is actually a gift from God, because she saw me crying. She asked me, are you okay? I said, no, I'm not. Like, my sister knows I don't have a car, and she got into it with me because she's so bad to her kids. I stood up for the kids, and now I'm like crying. I'm like, I'm away from home, and I'm trying to move to Greeley and all these things. And she's like, you know what, I'm gonna drop you off at the hotel, but before that, we're gonna go get something to eat, because I don't want you to leave that hotel with the baby. You're by yourself. You don't have a car. I don't want you getting up anywhere and going anywhere. Her name was Connie. And I only remember that because I saved her number. She told me to text me. She said, call me, text me anytime you need anything. I'm here for you. She took me to get something to eat. Then she took me to the hotel. The next day she calls me. She's like, do you need a ride to go pick up the car that you're renting? Because the lady that had rear-ended me had good insurance, and they were actually responsible for paying for my rental until they figured out what the situation was gonna be with my Jeep. She picks me up. She takes me to go get Chick-fil-A, and then we go to the Enterprise to pick up the car that I was gonna rent for the next days. And she did all that. I thank God for her, because I know it was God. Not knowing anybody in the city, I didn't bother my cousin or my aunt, because they had this big event with church. They already had a bunch of family coming in from Juarez, so they didn't have room. And like, I was just not gonna bother them with my problems. Later on, fast forward, when I told my cousin everything, she was like, oh my gosh, you should have told me. You could have stayed with us. I would have taken you. I would have helped you. And I'm like, I know you would have, but you already had a bunch going on. Like, you had probably more than 10 families coming in from Juarez, probably 5 of them staying with my cousin, probably another 5 with my aunt. Like, I'm not gonna bother you. She's like, okay, yeah, I know. Anyways, we made it. And it wouldn't have been for that Connie lady, I don't know where I would be right now. Her and my cousin. Anyway, so when I got the rental car, Connie made sure that we had a car. I started driving back home to Alamosa, which is 4 hours 45 minutes away. On my way back, I thought I had found a place to live, and the lady calls me and she's like, I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to rent it to you because it's not going to be ready by the time you need it. I think it was like July 10th, and I needed something available ASAP. This basement was supposed to be available ASAP. I found out now that that lady works for the School Board of Education, which is the district that I work with as well, so she's kind of my boss. Anyways, I had no idea who she was at the time. Now I know who she is. So I'm crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought I was gonna have a place to live in Greeley. Now it turns out I don't have a place to live in Greeley. I already told my landlord in Alamosa that I'm not gonna live there after July. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm supposed to start my job. This was like a Friday. I'm supposed to start my job on Monday. I can't make it. Like, I can't go to Greeley. Like, I'm gonna have to stay in Alamosa. So I speak with my landlord in Alamosa once we're already there. It felt so good to be home after everything, because I'm not with my boyfriend at this point. That's a different story as to why I decided to take him off the lease and move out of the valley and start my own life, you know, just me and my kids. It's a the whole reason why I left him, and now looking back, like, God is so good. God is so good, you guys. Like, God always takes care of us. And I'm getting emotional because, of course, like I told you guys earlier, I've been feeling very, very, like, convicted to say my story, because, and then this isn't even, like, all of it. 31, by the way. So, God has been good every single day of my life. So, I go back to Alamosa. I talk to my little sister. She knows everything. She's like, okay. She's listening to me. She's like, so why did you want to move to Greeley in the first place? I said, I don't know. I told her, even though I kind of had a job here at Dispatch in Alamosa, I don't want to work those crazy hours. I don't want to work Monday through, I can't remember what schedule they were going to give me. I think I was going to have to work Sunday, off Saturday, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm like, I need to be there for my kids first, so I can't take the Dispatch job. My little sister's like, okay, but don't move. She's like, stay here. She's like, I know how Sarai is, so she's like, I don't blame you, like, you did the right thing. She was just listening to me, and we went out to dinner. Well, my ex-boyfriend took Milani for a night. So then I'm like making calls, and I'm trying to think. I had called my landlord in Alamosa, and I told her, like, hey, I might have to stay in Alamosa because I don't know if this house is going to be ready for me. And I don't even know if I can, if I don't have a place to live, then I can't work there, because where am I going to live? Where are we going to live? So she's like, it's fine. Even though I already approved the tenant that's interested in the house, I could possibly let you stay for the duration of your lease. Like, you're fine. Just talk to me and I'll work with you. I'm like, okay, can I get back to you to confirm? She's like, all right. Sunday night, I get a call from this landlord, the one that I'm renting from now. And I had already forgotten that I had applied for this a basement, because I was applying everywhere for a house. She's like, hey, I'm here now at the basement. Can I show it to you? It's available now. Immediately I get on a FaceTime call with her, and she's showing me the place, right? She's showing me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is such a big room. This one, which is where all the kids sleep now. And I said, I like the bathroom. It's so spacious. Like, it's such a pretty house. I'm Googling it because I want to know what the outside looks like. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I'm going to go. It's for the perfect price. All the utilities are included. Everything's great. And I'm like, how can I get the key if I pay you the deposit, the rent, everything tonight? Can I drive down there right now? Because I'm supposed to start my job tomorrow. I was this close to writing JBS an email telling them, like, I can't work there anymore. I'm sorry, I didn't find a place to live. You guys are gonna have to find somebody else. I was this close to letting them know that I wasn't gonna take the job, but luckily the lady was like, no, here's the lockbox to the key. As soon as I get the money, then I will give you the code to get the keys inside. And you're our tenant. She ran my background really quick, and she told me everything's approved. Can you just pay the money now? And I did. I logged into my portal. I paid her the money, and I knew it wasn't a scam. Like, it just worked out so well. It was like 9 p.m. when I started loading my little Cruze. At the time, I drove a Chevy Cruze with my baby. My baby was already asleep, but I was waiting for Milani to sleep so I could start loading the car and start driving. I said, it's fine. If she's asleep overnight, I could just load the car with my bare essentials, and we can have a place to live. I start driving. I get here at 6 in the morning, and I start unloading. Well, no, I think it was 4 or 5, but by the time I start unloading the Cruze with my clothes, her diapers, shampoo, toothpaste, dish soap, like whatever, you know, I had even cooked rice so that I could have something to eat when I was working, right? I already had a babysitter lined up as well, because my cousin knew somebody from church. The babysitter was like expecting us first thing in the morning. So I get here at 4 in the morning. I go to sleep at 6. What time did I get here? I think I fell asleep at 6 in the morning. Then, or we got here at 4 in the morning. Woke up by 6 a.m. to get ready and be at work by 8:30 for orientation. So I'm starting my job at JBS. I have a basement to live in. Like, I can't even believe that. I'm like, God is so good. He always takes care of us, right? Then as time goes on, like the first day here, I did cry because I was sad. I missed, my boys were in Texas at the time. I was missing my boys. I get here and I don't like it. I'm like looking around. I'm like, this looks so different than the Zoom call. So I'm like looking around. I'm like, oh my gosh, this basement has a bunch of bugs. There's some things missing that are not what they were like supposed to be. Like, I think some things didn't work. Things needed to be fixed already. And I'm like contacting the landlord. I'm like, hey, I don't like it and I want to move out. She's like, she got so upset. She's like, how are you gonna move out? You just moved in and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, well, I saw it on the Zoom. So anyways, they just didn't like my answer. So they did not allow me to move out. And if I did, I was gonna have to pay rent until somebody moved in. Regardless, they didn't take in consideration that I saw it on Zoom. That it was like inside of a week that I had told her I hated it. She wasn't like lenient about it. She was like, okay, fine, whatever. Here's your money. Go find another place to live. She didn't like it. So I had to stay. And even though I had applied in other places, I had to stay. And now, looking back, now I know. Maybe God... Anyways, whatever. I'll talk about that in a sec. So I need to start driving to work. What happened after that? This is July, right? It's still July. I'm still hating my spot. I don't like my job because they weren't really helping people. Like, they were corporate, right? So you're supposed to handle all the disputes and all the things that their employees are going through. They did not do that at all. The manager that was training me was very careless of the stuff that the people were going through, the people that worked at the plants. And when I genuinely try to help someone over the phone, she was very like, transfer them to wherever. She's like, oh, it's just another person complaining. So I didn't like my job because it was very meaningless. I was like, I don't feel like this is where I should be. So 3 weeks later, I quit. And then I was unemployed for about a month and a half after that. And I did have some money saved up, which allowed me to be unemployed for that long. But I was running out of money, so I was like, oh my gosh, I really need a job. But this time I'm gonna work for the district, for the school district, because that's my passion. That's truly what I want to do. I started applying again online, and I'm applying at every school district that I can. Well, at this school district, there's a bunch of job openings. My cousin had worked for the middle school that my kids currently attend. So she is telling me, oh my gosh, you're gonna love the office manager. She's great. You're gonna be so good at your job and this and that. She's just encouraging me through the whole thing. And I applied at the middle school that my kids are attending. I get this job offer. It was the only job opening they had. And I get the job offer to work as the ISS monitor. But the pay was $17 an hour. And I don't get paid for winter break, spring break, or summer, or Thanksgiving break. So then I'm like, oh my God, I come home and I'm like, I can't do that job. Like, how am I gonna make ends meet? I have 4 kids by myself. Like, how am I gonna pay rent and still have money for things that they need? And the next weekend, my niece and nephew spend the night. because miraculously my sister let them come over, and I'm still not speaking with her, but my kids have her kids on Snapchat and Instagram, so they're like texting each other, telling each other like, hey, can you spend the night tonight? Ask your mom. Sarai said yes. The kids walked out of the apartment. I stayed in my car. I didn't have no contact with her. I happily bring them over. The next day they tell me what's going on in their house. Remember, I'm still waiting to start at Heath Middle School for minimum wage, or a little bit more than minimum wage, because I believe the minimum wage in Colorado is $12 or $14, and I was gonna start working there for $17 an hour. So they tell me what's going on at home. They tell me horrendous things that they've recently been going through, as expected. And I take them home, right? But before I take them home, I sit them both down and I'm like, hey, what you're going through is not normal. And if you ever feel like you need help and you're outside of your house, please call me and I'm gonna go get you. Please call me. Please remember my number. Please, if you have a cell phone, let me know. I'm gonna go pick you up. I live here now. You guys are not alone. You guys have me. I take them home. Probably not even a week later. This was on a Sunday because they spent Saturday night with me and they were all day with me Sunday. I take them home Tuesday or Wednesday. It was Tuesday. My niece calls me or texts me on Instagram because she didn't have a working phone. They can only use it with Wi-Fi. My niece calls me and she's like, Damaris, Isaac is outside. It's like 9 p.m. Okay, this is another thing that God did. Usually, I'm seeing someone at this point and I'm always on the phone with him, but this night I told him I don't feel like talking on the phone. I feel like going to sleep early because I have a lot on my mind. He said that's fine. So I put my phone down. My phone is on sleep mode. My phone is on sleep mode, which isn't supposed to give you any notifications because, you know, you're supposed to be sleeping. I hang up the phone with him. I put my phone to the side, and as usual, I put the Bible verses while you sleep on YouTube. And I listen to that all night, right? Something told me, look at your phone. Reach over for your phone and look at it. And my niece is texting me, Damaris, please come, help. Please pick up Isaac. He's outside. He's shivering. He's barefoot. He has no sweater on. Please come pick him up. Immediately. I text my niece back and I'm like, hey, mommy, I'm right here. She had already written me like 5 different messages. I'm like, I'm here. I'm outside for him. I'm gonna go get him. I get Milani and I get my oldest son, Christian, because Christian is very close to my nephew, Isaac. And we drive over there and I call my cousin on my way. I'm like, hey, Eilis just wrote me. My cousin knew what was going on too. I'm like, hey, my cousin, Eilis just wrote me that she needs help. Isaac is outside. He got choked by Francisco. I was like, she's like, oh my gosh, go. Damaris, like, go and I'll call the cops. She's like, what's their address? I give her the address. The cops get there and me and Christian like park. And I'm like, let's go find him, Christian. So Christian runs out of the car and finds Isaac crying and shivering and barefoot outside. We park across the street where the mall is, and we could see the cops and the sheriffs going to talk to my sister and the husband. When it's their turn to speak with my nephew, they pull out the flashlight and they see red marks all over his neck and scratches on his chest. Okay, I'm gonna try to continue and finish, but if I can't finish, I think I have some time after work. I'm gonna drive to this preschool really quick to make a cute video of the kids and the teacher and stuff. Okay, where was I? I'm in the part where I picked up my nephew because he was outside shaking. Okay, I forgot a very important part, and I'm kind of glad that I paused and I listened, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to say something super important. when that night that my niece and nephew spent the night, I prayed that night. I already had the job offer to that middle school where my kids go to, and I was laying in bed and I couldn't sleep that night. I just wasn't comfortable. And the reason why I wasn't comfortable is because I knew that I was gonna have to take them in. I knew in me that they were gonna go through something, and it's not like if you wanted to wait until something bad happened to them, but my instinct just told me like things are not right at home and I'm here in Greeley, I'm gonna help them. So I pray and I'm asking God. I prayed with all my heart, and I told God, I said, God, if I have to take in my niece and my nephew, or all 4 of them on top of my 4 children, I said, please give me a job that will allow me to sustain all of them by myself. I said, open the doors to that job, Lord. Guide me to a better job, because I can't do it on $17 an hour with that many kids. I said, God, you know what I need. I go to sleep. Finally, I relax my mind, and at 10 in the morning the next day, they call me from the school district and they tell me, hey, I think you'd be great at this position. She starts telling me the details. I had no idea what it was. I just heard the word preschool, and I said, yeah, of course I want to work for preschool. I don't even think I asked her the rate, but she told me she's like, you know what, I hadn't even applied for the job and she was already setting me up for an interview. She's like, just get it done today. This is a job ID. Log back in to your portal, and I'm gonna set you up for an interview right now so you can get interviewed on Friday. And so I'm pulling up the job, right, and she's like, oh, and it's for $24 an hour. My phone almost like fell on the floor, because I'm like, I've never made that much in my life, and that's way more than I was expecting. I almost cried when I went to the interview and they offered me the job right on the spot. And the post says that I need an associate's. I told the girl before my interview, I said, hey, I don't even have an associate's. I don't have any of the job qualifications except some college and a high school diploma and some experience in early childhood. She replied with, don't even worry about that. Just show up for your interview on Friday. We're very excited and this and that. I go to the interview. They hired me on the spot. And I almost cried. I almost cried, and I'm like, the whole time I'm like, God, I know it was you. I know it was God. So I was already getting myself prepared mentally for, taking in my niece and my nephew. The call I had gotten was on Monday. Tuesday, I get I pick up all of my kids from her apartment because that night she got arrested. They sent my nephew. They told me, hey, can you take him into the ER for an extrangulation examination? I said, yeah, of course. So they tell me the steps. They give me the case number so they know where to submit the results. And they did let me know that I was also going to be interviewed by CPS. So it was my nephew. There was going to be a few people talking to my nephew, interviewing him, asking him questions. They decided they were going to arrest my sister's husband for what he had done. Just my sister's husband, not even her. But the reason why they ended up arresting her was because he was running from the police, and when she was advised by the police to come pick up her son from the emergency room, she hid Francisco in the trunk of her car. And the way they knew was because they had it all on footage. They had it all on the security cameras because they couldn't find him anywhere. They sat my sister down in the emergency room, in the lobby, and they were searching her car. And the cops were asking her, like, where is he? She's like, I don't know. I dropped them off somewhere, and I don't even know where I dropped them off. I don't know. So the cop got so fed up with her that when they found out that he was hiding in her car, they took her into custody too. So she spent like a day or two in jail. Francisco spent like time in jail, a little longer than she did, but when she got released, she wanted to go pick up her kids at my house, and the only reason why she knew where we lived was because she had picked up my kids like a day before she got arrested, because it was my son's 13th birthday and she wanted to take them to Crumble Cookie and give him a present or something. So she had my address, even though whatever. The whole plan was for them to never know where I lived, because they're psycho. They will show up at my house at late hours of the night fighting, and for them asking me for help, or her wanting to leave and he won't leave her, and you know, just a bunch of stuff they've had like a very bad history together. So and I tell her, I said, you can't take your kids. Here's the piece of paper. Kristen's been trying to get a hold of you. That's the CPS worker. She already interviewed the kids. She already talked to me. You're not getting your kids. And she was calm. She looked at the piece of paper like for a very long time in front of me, and she's like, well, why hasn't nobody called me? I said, they try to call you, but if you haven't been informed, she will inform you tomorrow. I said, take a picture of the paper. I was instructed by her to not let you take the kids. So yeah, I had all of her kids, 4 kids, and then my kids. Through this whole time, I can't even sleep, because I'm anxiously waiting for my job. I'm running out of money. I need to feed 8 kids. My aunt, of course, like, she tells me, come eat here every single day, mija, so you don't have to worry about meals. I'm not gonna do that to her. I know they struggle. My cousin would invite us over for dinner occasionally, but I wasn't gonna go mooch off of my cousin either. So one way or the other, we ate. And glory to God that we did. I think even at this time I was falling behind on rent. I start my job September 18th. And I find out I don't get paid until October 31st. So, but you know what? Even though all of these things happened, we never lacked anything. We never lacked toilet paper. We never lacked toothpaste. We never lacked milk. We never lacked meat. We never lacked tortillas, eggs. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We never lacked gas to get to all the schools, because we had to take them all to school, and mind you, it was quite a ways for, you know, to take 8 kids to different places. Well, 6 of them. They all went to different schools except my kids. 2 of my kids went to Heath. But now, fast forward, we are in January, and I can give you more updates about the case, but there has been something's going on. I never attended a court day just because it makes me mad when I listen to them and I hear them deny everything. I was granted temporary custody of my niece. They want to give me permanent custody. Not permanent, but like, because right now, technically speaking, the state has custody of my niece. But if they give me, they'll want to give me the rights to her. Of course, instead of the state having rights, I would have rights. And then they also want to certify me to be kinship, like a foster care provider for her. They did let me know that I was going to pay money, and the lady that knows us, one of the ladies that handles the case, because there's a bunch of workers involved in the case right now, but she said, I know you want to move out of this basement. This money that you'll be making, because you're going to be certified, is going to allow you to make enough money to move out of the basement and get into a bigger home. But when Elise goes back home, then you stop receiving that. So I tell my kids, what if we take care of more kids? And my kids kind of like roll their eyes and like, no mom, like, we don't want no weirdo kid living with us with a bunch of issues. And they're like, it's fine taking Elise, but if it's any other kid, they're like, I don't know how we feel about that. So I'm gonna respect that because it's their house as well, right? Where was I? I'm at the elementary school now that I was gonna come recording, but I'll finish my video later. Okay, so that was so much fun. I just left from filming in Miss Kendra's classroom, and she is so like animated. She is like so happy and energetic and enthusiastic. Everything that a preschool teacher should be, right? Okay, so anyways, where was I? So yeah, all these things happened. We are now in January. They're talking about them returning back to home in 6 months. They want me to get certified. My kids don't want any more kids after I leave. But there is a chance that even though they say that my sister's doing very well and all that, which I want her to be good, that she's, that it might take longer, it might take less, who knows, right? So only time will tell. And recently, and I think this is like a big reason why I wanted to record, is because recently I've been like missing Alamosa, and just yesterday my landlord was like, no, you can't renew the lease here. She's like, but I really think that my upstairs neighbor told her, because my upstairs neighbor actually moved out to Alabama for a new job offer. And I really think that's when she put in her notice that Ashley might have asked her, the landlord was like, hey, do you think Damaris is going to renew? And I'm pretty sure Tanya was like, no, she doesn't want to stay either. So, because I've never been told, no, you can't renew your lease here, like never in my life has anyone ever told me that. So I'm pretty sure that, anyways, so now I'm like, okay. I got all emotional yesterday when I thought about us moving back to Alamosa, because there's potential places of hiring, like at the school district. But here's the thing, I don't want to make $17 an hour again. Like I want to, and God knows what we need. God knows my heart. God knows all our needs. I want to work for a decent wage, and so I got emotional when I thought about working at the middle school where I used to work at like 3 years ago now, and I hope that I do, and places to work and stuff and live, and I'm getting like very excited and very emotional about it at the same time. But then I think about everything that has to take place. Like, God will speak to me and tell me, like, yes, Damaris, go, I'm opening the doors, it's time for you to leave. Or, wait, daughter, I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna see where He puts us and the time that He needs to put me in, He knows. So right now, I'm waiting for God's confirmation, because I'm not going to do anything without God telling me first. Yes. Because here's the thing, I don't want to relocate after this move. Now that I'm in Greeley, I've experienced it. I've realized that I don't want us to live here forever. I don't want to buy a house in Greeley. There's a few things that I've noticed once, and it takes sometimes moving to know to the place that you've been dreaming about. Sometimes you have to do it to learn and to realize, like, this isn't what I thought it was. And I've been here since July, so it's been about 8 months. And although I love my job, I feel like at every place you're never going to get exactly what you wanted. There's always going to be something. Like, for instance, here, I wish that, like, when I was Alamosa, I wish that I could have kept my home and brought my home here, like the house that we were living in, bring it to Greeley. And here now I wish that I could take my job with me and live in Alamosa, but it's like you can't have it all, right? And even if you don't find it all, like, what are you gonna do to make it happen? So in my case, am I gonna stay in Greeley, find a really nice place to live, or am I gonna move to Alamosa and have like a not such a great job, but have a really good place to live? It's like one or the other. But God is a merciful God, and God is a good God. So why wouldn't He give me both? Why wouldn't He give me and my kids a good job, a good place to live? Because and I told my kids this, I said, wherever we go next, that's where we're gonna stay. I'm done moving. I'm done planning for relocating. I'm done starting from zero. Because if you look, I was looking around my house too, and I was like, I don't have one good piece of furniture. I used to, but then I returned it because I had to move in with Jesus since we were having a baby, and I got rid of my bedroom set. I got rid of my table. I got rid of my couches, and they were really nice couches, right? And even though I still owed money on them, I returned them. So now I'm looking around and I'm like, I bought everything that I have in my basement now off of the yard sale, and it's secondhand, and it's like not stuff that I want to keep forever, and I'm not proud of it, because if you look in my house, it's like it doesn't even look nice in here, and I don't like it. So I want us to get lifelong things now. Like, I want us to be in a home, in a forever home. I'm not gonna keep putting my kids through moving and relocating and having to start over from zero. Like, I'm done doing that. And God knows, like I said earlier, so next place where we go is where we're gonna stay. We're gonna buy a home, and that's gonna be our forever place. And I'm declaring it now, and it's January 2024, and it will happen because God is good.